consciousness. Consciousness. That's what one of the best scientists, we call them the best brain, the greatest brain that humanity has ever met, Albert Einstein, he referred to it as consciousness. Consciousness is the ability to see what you're doing. Let me play an example. Let me play a game with you guys, okay? You'll see this is pretty cool. I want everybody to look at an object that is at least 2 or 3 meters in front of you. Okay? Look at an object. Don't look at me. Look at an object that is about 2 or 3 meters in front of you. Okay? Then I want you to do this. I want you to imagine yourself how you are in a place, in a location, and that object is in a different location. Okay? So I'll give you about 10 seconds to do that. Look at the object, and I want you to feel, internalize how you occupy a space and the object occupies a different space. Good. Some of you are able to do it. Some of you aren't able to do it. That's okay. If I gave you more time to practice, everybody in this room would be able to do it. Okay? Now let's play the game differently. Look at the same object, but this time, imagine that you are located where the object is and you're looking at yourself. Look at that perspective of yourself from, almost like if the object was a mirror. Look at yourself from the perspective of that object. Again, some of you are able to do it, some of you aren't. That is called consciousness. You are the only mammal, the only living organism on this planet able to do this. To reflect upon yourself, to see yourself from a different perspective. But you know what's going on? Because you're not practicing it, many of you are not able to do it. Many of you are not able to do it. Let me tell you something. Because it differentiates you from any other species on the planet, it is also your survival mechanism. Think about it. Think about it. Think about whatever differentiates a species from another is their survival mechanism. The tiger has big fangs. Does he survive with his fangs? Yes. The dolphin swims really fast. The shark has an amazing jaw with 3 or 4 rows of teeth. The monkey can climb. We survive. Our survival mechanism as human beings is what differentiates us from anything else. In your case, it's awareness. It's consciousness. And many of you have never practiced consciousness before. We're so drilled to live in this world where things are done for us. Because for the past 250 years, we've lived in a society that's called an industrial society. Right? It happened in the 1700s. In the 1700s, a very smart man, Mr. Watt, or Watts, James Watt or James Watts, I'm not sure, I think it's Watt, figured out the steam engine. The steam engine already existed, but he figured out a way to make it more efficient. That changed the world completely. I mean, up until that point, every single one of you and your ancestors had to be an entrepreneur. You had to be to survive. You had to be. You had to think for yourself to survive. That was the only way. If you didn't think for yourself, you could not survive. But starting in the late 1700s in England, now one really bright entrepreneur could actually buy some machines. Because he had machines, he needed human beings. Sometimes one entrepreneur needed 10,000 human beings. So where before we used horses and human brute force, now machines were taking over. So one entrepreneur needed 10,000 employees to work for him. So we could not, as entrepreneurs, we could not afford to have free thinkers, could we? We couldn't. Because what if your job in the factory is this, right? Take this, put it here. 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 That's your job. And if you do that until you retire, until you're 65 years old, we'll take care of the rest of your life, if you're not dead. Most of you are going to be dead, back then. Most people were dead by the time they were 65. Did you know that? Maybe some of you didn't know that, right? The reason why retiring age was at 65 is because life expectancy was at 65. No joke. They said, well, if you survive beyond 65, you're on us, buddy. No problem. Life expectancy was 65. So you could not have someone say, okay, well, so I'm going to train you how to do this, and then you're going to do this. And after a year, say, excuse me, why do I have to put it here? Why not just put it back here and then fired. You're fired. We cannot afford dissension. When you have 10,000 employees, you cannot afford dissension. So we created an entire system as a society to make sure that people were trained to be like robots. We created an entire system, the entire economic system, the entire educational system, the entire religious system trained us to think like employees, to be subservient to a master. And it worked really, really well. So every one of you in this room is a direct descendant of that system.